Ossetins is a small western nation that is made of hills, mountains and tundra, with a population of 43 million as of their 1913 census, and in this video I am going over Ossetins' war with Komistania in 1918 and the aftermath of that war. I'll give you some short history up until 1918. Ossetins formerly was a monarchy under the Aba family that had ruled since 1021, coming into power nearly 100 years after the dismantling of the Grand Duchy of Comus, which would later become the Socialist Federation of Komistania. The Duchy of Comus was divided between the Ossetinian Imperium and the United Snowian Kingdoms. Ossetins treated the Komistanian territories as a breadbasket for the Ossetinian heartland and was important to the Ossetinian economy. However, over the centuries, the Imperium's grip began to falter with Komistanian resistance groups finally making Komistania independent in 1867, ruining the Ossetinian economy and causing thousands of deaths in the ensuing independence war. On top of losing the Komistanian hunting rye fields, the Ossetinian agricultural sector had fallen behind and was now unable to support the country and would lead to major food shortages throughout the overly industrialized nation that would last until the late 1920s. In 1895, Ossetins would invade Komistania through the town of Nib and straddles the Nib mountain range along the Komistanian-Ossetinian border. This was a massive failure in the 2000s of deaths. At the time, Ossetinian Field Marshal Joseph Muller would witness hundreds of his troops die, including his beloved brother Elias. After the end of the war in 1900, the Ossetinian High Command would grow sick of Kaiser Karl Aber and would form the National Soldatenparty, led by Joseph Muller, which was meant to represent the veterans and their families of the recent wars. However, they were blocked from gaining representation in the Ossetinian parliament by Leopold Huber, who was a close ally of the Aber dynasty. This would infuriate a large portion of the Ossetinian population and would alienate most from the monarchy, and would result in the National Soldatenparty gaining popularity. In 1912, the National Soldatenparty overthrew the emperor and intended to throw him in prison. However, Aber fled to the Principality of Seoul by train. However, during that fateful trip, his train entered a tunnel and it just never left. He disappeared without a trace, much to the anger of this party who intended to throw him in a prison cell to rot. Now we get to 1916. Ossetinian remilitarization was right underway, and they were planning an invasion of Komistania by 1918. They built a reasonable stockpile of tanks, aircraft and chemical weaponry, and had massively expanded the army. On the 12th of Quintus 1918, Ossetins began their invasion into Nib with 2 infantry companies, 2 armoured companies, 2 combat engineer Philanthera companies and a single armoured car reconnaissance platoon. However, the attack would quickly stall because of stiff Komistanian resistance. Despite this, the attack would restart on the 1st of Mensis with great success. This was due to the commander of the 25th Sultan Infantry Company, Oscar Ackermann, ordering the use of chlorine gas on the unprepared Komistanian, Bristolstani and Celestine defenders. However, he failed to mention to his own troops that he was going to use chlorine gas until after the barrage had started. In the aftermath, he would then order the execution of over 200 IASN POWs and 30 civilians before continuing the advance deeper. By 1922, Ossetins had reached the city of Jashin, which was a major logistical hub, and by 1923 they had encircled Komistania's capital city of Unsk. Later that year they would finally take the city and would capture Komistania's premier Joseph Koller. In 1924 they forced him to sign the Trennungsvertrag, or the Treaty of Separation, which divided Komistania between Ossetins and Yugoslavia, when they set up a neutral border zone called the Central Ossetinian Military Frontier, which was administered by Ossetins. After the war's end, Ossetins would divide Komistania into 3 puppet states, Nord, Centrala and Sud, which would function as both buffer states and force trading nations to further bolster the Ossetinian economy. The new Ossetinia and Kavgrad North regions were directly annexed back into the federated territories, and their agricultural areas were largely expanded and became the breadbasket of the new federation. However, as Occidents emerged as a victor of the war, the question of whether they could hold on to the territory they had claimed came into question, as factions such as the Komistani Liberation Army rose up in the countryside of their various puppet states. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in and tolerating my absolute dog water voice acting, and I'd also like to thank you for 50 subscribers. I've got nothing more to say, so goodbye.